Be me, 41, Senior Network Security Engineer. Worked for Medcare Health Systems, massive hospital network. 47 hospitals across 12 states, mostly Midwest and South. We're the IT backbone for all of them. Handle everything: patient records, imaging systems, medication dispensing. Life-critical infrastructure literally keeps people alive. Been doing hospital IT for 16 years. Worked my way up from help desk to senior security engineer. Our network is complex, really complex. Mix of old and new systems, some equipment from the 90s. CT scanners running Windows XP, can't upgrade them. Medication dispensers with proprietary software from 2005. Electronic health records on modern cloud systems. Everything has to work together, no exceptions. When an ER doctor orders morphine, system has to respond in seconds. Patient's life might depend on it. We take security seriously, really seriously. Multiple layers of protection, defense in depth. Firewalls, intrusion detection, endpoint protection, and legacy authentication protocols. Old tech, some of it from the early 2000s. But it works, it's proven, it's tested. Never had a major breach in 20 years. Then 18 months ago, corporate hired a new CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. Woman named Ashley. She's 38, comes from tech startup world. Background in cloud security, modern DevOps practices. Got her job because she wrote a book, Security for the Future, Beyond Legacy Thinking. Big on LinkedIn, speaks at conferences. Hired to modernize our security posture. Ashley's first month, she does a security audit. Reviews all our systems, all our protocols. Comes back with a 60-page report. Critical security debt assessment. Calls a meeting with all senior IT staff. Presents her findings. Our security infrastructure is embarrassingly outdated. Running authentication protocols from 2003. Using encryption standards that are practically deprecated. Me? Those protocols work, we've never been breached. Ashley, you've been lucky. Modern threat actors would walk right through this. Another engineer. We're a hospital network, not a tech company. Our priority is uptime and compatibility. Ashley, your priority should be security. Every day we run this legacy stack, we're vulnerable. She shows specific examples. NTLM authentication for internal systems. Me, that's for backward compatibility with old medical devices. Ashley, it's a security hole. SMB v1 file sharing protocol. Me, required for some imaging systems to transfer scans. Ashley, it's exploitable. Legacy VPN concentrators. Me, they handle remote access for 4,000 doctors. Ashley, they use outdated encryption. She wants to rip it all out. Replace with modern zero-trust architecture. All new protocols, all new authentication. Me, that'll break half our medical equipment. Ashley, then we'll upgrade the equipment. Me, some of this equipment costs millions of dollars. And it's working fine, we can't just replace it. Ashley, we can't secure what we can't modernize. Next month, she presents her modernization plan to the board. Project Secure Forward. Phase 1. Disable legacy authentication protocols. Phase 2. Implement zero-trust network access. Phase 3. Migrate all systems to modern encryption. Timeline 90 days. Budget $40 million. Board member asks, what about compatibility with existing equipment? Ashley, we'll work around it. Board member, what does that mean? Ashley, non-compliant systems will be isolated until upgraded. Me, that's half our medical devices. You can't isolate CT scanners and medication dispensers. Ashley, then they'll be upgraded. Me, in 90 days? Impossible. Some of this equipment has 6-month lead times. Ashley, then we'll expedite. The board approves it anyway. They're scared of headlines about hospital data breaches. Want to look proactive on security. Ashley has them convinced legacy systems are the problem. We start phase 1 in March. I document my objections in writing. Email to Ashley and CTO. Disabling NTLM will break authentication for 200-plus medical systems. Disabling SMBv1 will prevent scan transfers from 89 imaging devices. Strongly recommend phased approach with full compatibility testing. Ashley responds, "Your concerns are noted but overruled. We're committed to modern security standards." CTO backs her up. Security takes priority. April 1st, Phase 1 goes live. Ashley's team disables the legacy protocols. NTLM authentication off. SMBv1 file sharing off. Legacy VPN replaced with new system. Within an hour, we're getting calls. Lab systems can't authenticate to print results. Imaging systems can't transfer scans to PACS. Doctors can't access patient records remotely on old VPN clients. Ashley, these are transition issues. We'll resolve them. We spend the next week in crisis mode. Reconfiguring systems, updating drivers, patching software. Some stuff we can fix, some we can't. About 30 medical devices just won't work with new protocols. Too old, too proprietary, too locked down. Ashley's solution: isolate them on a separate network. Creates a quarantine VLAN for legacy devices. Minimal security, just enough to keep them running. This defeats the entire purpose. You're creating a less secure network for critical equipment. Ashley, it's temporary until we can upgrade. Temporary becomes 2 months. The isolated network grows to 50 devices. All critical, all needed for patient care. All sitting on a network with minimal protection. Because Ashley needed to prove legacy protocols were unnecessary. June, everything seems stable. Systems are running, devices are functioning. Ashley declares Phase 1 a success. Successfully modernized authentication infrastructure. Presence metrics to the board. Eliminated 15 legacy security vulnerabilities. No mention of the 50 devices on the isolated network. No mention of the workarounds we had to implement. Just victory lap about modernization. Phase 2 begins. Zero trust implementation. More complexity, more changes. I'm working 70-hour weeks, trying to keep up. Making sure patient care systems stay online. June 15th, Friday afternoon. I'm about to leave for the weekend. Get an alert on my phone. Unusual network activity on the isolated VLAN. Check it out. Looks like scanning behavior. Someone probing the network, testing systems. I escalate to the security team. They investigate, can't find the source. Probably just a misconfigured device. I'm not convinced, but it's 6 p.m. on Friday. They tell me, we'll monitor it over the weekend. I go home. Uneasy. Saturday morning, 4 a.m. Phone rings. It's the night shift security analyst. We have a situation. I'm already getting dressed. What kind of situation? Analyst, Ransomware, spreading fast. I'm remote connecting before he finishes the sentence. Log into the network monitoring system. See encryption activity spreading across the isolated VLAN. Every device on that network is getting hit. Ransomware is encrypting files, locking systems. Then I see it jump. From the isolated VLAN to the main hospital network. Someone left a connection open. A bridge between the quarantine and production. Ransomware is spreading to everything. File servers, database servers, workstation images. I call Ashley. She doesn't answer. Call the CTO. He picks up. We need to shut down the entire network. CTO, we can't. We're a hospital. Me? If we don't, ransomware will encrypt everything. CTO, how bad is it? Me? It's spreading to multiple hospitals already. CTO, shut it down. I'll notify the executive team. 5:30 a.m. We start emergency shutdown. Taking systems offline before they can be encrypted. But we're too late for some. St. Mary's Hospital in Ohio. Entire EHR system encrypted. Mercy General in Indiana. Imaging systems locked. Memorial Hospital in Kentucky. Medication dispensing down. By 7 a.m., 23 hospitals have infected systems. By 9 a.m., it's 31 hospitals. By noon, all 47 hospitals in our network are affected. Some worse than others, but all hit. Sunday, we're in full crisis response. Brought an FBI, cybersecurity forensics team, trying to understand what happened. Forensics team traces it back. Ransomware entered through the isolated VLAN, exploited SMBEV1 vulnerability, the exact protocol Ashley disabled on the main network. But the isolated VLAN still had it running, because those old devices required it. Attackers found the vulnerable network, exploited it, gained foothold, then found the bridge to production network, spread everywhere in hours. FBI, this is a sophisticated attack. They knew exactly where to look. Me, because we advertised it, created an isolated network with weak security. For all our legacy devices. FBI agent looks at Ashley. Why would you do that? Ashley, we were transitioning to modern protocols. FBI, you created a soft target and painted a bullseye on it. Ransomware Group leaves a note. Your network is encrypted. Pay $180 million in Bitcoin for decryption keys. You have 72 hours. $180 million. We don't have that in cash. Even if we did, FBI says don't pay. Funds terrorist organizations. Encourages more attacks. But our alternative is rebuilding everything. That takes weeks, maybe months. Monday, patient impact starts hitting. Hospitals are running on paper. No electronic health records. Doctors using clipboards. No digital imaging, CT and MRI scans piling up. Medication dispensers locked. Pharmacists manually distributing. Surgery schedules delayed. Can't access patient histories. Emergency rooms diverting ambulances. On bypass. Too overwhelmed without computer systems. Tuesday, first death. Patient in Michigan, diabetic emergency. Brought to ER, needs insulin immediately. Medication system is down. Pharmacist trying to manually verify. Takes too long. Patient goes into diabetic coma. Dies before they can stabilize him. Wednesday, 3 more deaths. Delayed surgeries, medication errors, misdiagnoses. All because systems are down. Thursday, we're at 7 deaths. Media picks up the story. Ransomware attack kills hospital patients. National news, CNN, Fox, everyone. Ashley does a press conference. Tries to explain what happened. We were implementing modern security protocols. Unfortunately, threat actors exploited a transition vulnerability. Reporter. Did you create that vulnerability? Ashley. We were following industry best practices. Reporter. Industry best practices that got 7 people killed? Ashley has no answer. Friday, 72-hour deadline hits. Board makes the call. Pay the ransom. Can't wait weeks to rebuild. People are dying. Wire $180 million in Bitcoin. Attackers send decryption keys. Keys work. We start unlocking systems. But damage is done. 7 people dead, dozens more harmed. Network will take months to fully restore. Reputation destroyed. FBI investigation continues. Traces the attack back to Eastern European hackers. Same group hit other targets before, but our network was unusually vulnerable. The isolated VLAN was like leaving a door unlocked. They asked around the dark web for soft targets. Someone pointed them at Medcare. Hospital network with legacy systems on separate, poorly secured VLAN. We got targeted because Ashley's modernization created the vulnerability. State Medical Board launches investigation. Reviewing patient deaths. Were they preventable? Medical examiners determined 5 were directly caused by system downtime. 2 more were contributory. Could have survived with proper care. But delayed treatment sealed their fate. Criminal investigation begins. District attorneys in 3 states. Looking at charges, criminally negligent homicide. Against who? That's the question. Ashley is CISO. She made the decisions. CTO who approved it. Board members who funded it. Me for not preventing it. I hire a lawyer just in case. 8 months later, charges come down. Ashley indicted on 7 counts of criminally negligent homicide. 3 counts of reckless endangerment. 1 count of computer fraud. CTO indicted on 3 counts, lesser charges. Board members not charged but face civil suits. I'm not charged. My documented objections saved me. Prosecutors, you raised alarms, they ignored you. Use my emails as evidence against Ashley. Trial happens 14 months after the attack. I testify as prosecution witness. Prosecutor, did you warn the defendant about these vulnerabilities? Me? Yes, multiple times in writing. Prosecutor, what was her response? Me, that my concerns were noted but overruled. Prosecutor, did you believe the modernization plan was dangerous? Me, yes, I believe it would create exactly the vulnerability we saw. Defense tries to argue Ashley was following industry standards, but expert witnesses destroy that. Chief Security Officer from Johns Hopkins. Industry standard is compatibility testing. You never isolate critical medical devices on weak networks. That's Security 101. Former NSA Cybersecurity Director. This was negligence. She prioritized ideology over patient safety. Jury takes 6 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing 3 months later. Judge is harsh. Your reckless pursuit of modernization killed 7 people. You ignored warnings from experienced engineers. You created vulnerabilities in life-critical systems. This court cannot ignore the consequences. Ashley gets 12 years federal prison. CTO gets 4 years. Both ordered to pay restitution, $2 million each. To victims' families. Won't cover the loss, but it's something. Civil suits continue for years. Families suing Medcare, suing Ashley personally. Settlements total $400 million. Company barely survives. Has to sell 6 hospitals to cover costs. Reputation never recovers. Today, for years later, I'm working at a different hospital system. Much smaller, 8 hospitals instead of 47. They hire me specifically because of Medcare experience. We want someone who understands the risks. My interview, CIO asked me, "What's your philosophy on legacy systems?" Me? If it's working and it's critical, you don't touch it. Modernization is great, but compatibility comes first. In healthcare, uptime saves lives. CIO, that's exactly right. We have legacy systems here too. Old CT scanners, old medication dispensers. I protect them, isolate them properly. Air-gap networks when necessary. Multiple layers of defense. Never create soft targets. Never sacrifice safety for ideology. Ashley's out in 8 years probably. Good behavior. First offense. Wonder what she'll do after. Can't work in cybersecurity anymore. Can't work in healthcare. Maybe she'll write another book. What I learned from killing 7 people. Doubt it though. She probably still thinks she was right. That legacy protocols were the problem. Not her reckless implementation. Not her refusal to listen. Not her ideology over safety. The families don't care what she thinks. 7 people dead because someone decided modern security was more important than proven working systems. Feminist cybersecurity lead disabled legacy safeguards. Ransomware hit 47 hospitals. 7 people died. $180 million ransom paid. 12 years in prison. All because she knew better than decades of proven protocols. She didn't. And people died. That's the cost of ideology over engineering. 2 years after the attack, I get subpoenaed. Civil lawsuit won the families. Wife of the diabetic patient who died first. She's suing Medcare for wrongful death. Her lawyer wants me to testify. I show up to the deposition. She's there. Woman in her 50s, looks exhausted. Lost her husband of 30 years. Because our systems were down. Her lawyer asked me to walk through what happened. I explained the timeline. Ashley's modernization plan. The isolated VLAN. The ransomware attack. The medication system being offline. Wife starts crying when I get to that part. How long did it take? Me, ma'am. How long did it take for the pharmacist to get his insulin? Me. Records show 47 minutes. Normally, 3 to 5 minutes with the automated system. So he died because of 40 extra minutes. Me. Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. Her. Was this preventable? Me. Yes. Her. Did you try to prevent it? Me. I raised objections multiple times in writing. Her. But they didn't listen. Me. No, ma'am, they didn't. She looks at me for a long moment. Thank you for trying. That hits harder than any cross-examination could. She's thanking me for failing to save her husband. The other deaths haunt me too. Patient in Ohio missed cancer diagnosis. Imaging systems were down, couldn't get CT scan. By the time systems were back, cancer had spread. Died 4 months later. Patient in Indiana, medication error. Pharmacist dispensing manually without computer checks. Gave wrong dosage. Patient had fatal reaction. Patient in Kentucky, delayed surgery. Needed emergency cardiac procedure. Couldn't access patient history. Anesthesiologist had to guess medications. Bad interaction. Patient died on table. Each one preventable. Each one a result of systems being down. Each one Ashley's responsibility. But also mine in a way. I saw it coming, I warned them. But I didn't quit, I didn't go public. Just documented my objections and kept working. Sometimes I wonder if I should have done more. Year 3, I'm contacted by a journalist. Writing a book about hospital cybersecurity. Wants to interview me about Medcare. We meet at a coffee shop, talk for 3 hours. She's done her research, knows the technical details. But she wants the human story. What was it like watching it happen? Me. Helpless, mostly. You see the attack spreading, you know what's coming, but you can't stop it fast enough. Her. Did you ever talk to Ashley after? Me. Once during the FBI investigation. We were both giving statements. Her. What did she say? Me. That she was following best practices. That the attack was sophisticated. That no one could have predicted it. Her. Do you believe that? Me. No, I predicted it exactly. In writing, 2 months before it happened. Journalist. Why do you think she did it? Me. Did what? Her. Pushed forward despite the warnings. Me. Because she thought she was smarter than the old systems. Thought legacy protocols were obsolete. Thought modernization was always better. Her. Was she trying to prove something? Me. Yeah. That she could transform hospital security. Be the hero who modernized a backward industry. Instead, she became the villain who killed 7 people. Book comes out a year later. Critical Condition. The Medcare ransomware disaster. Becomes a bestseller. People are fascinated by how badly it went wrong, by how preventable it was, by the hubris of thinking you know better. Ashley's quoted in it from her trial testimony. I was trying to protect patients by improving security. Patients' families respond in interviews. She killed my husband to make a statement. 7 people died for her resume. The book becomes required reading in hospital IT programs. Case study in what not to do. I get invited to speak at conferences. Lessons from Medcare, balancing security and safety. Always the same questions. How do you prevent this from happening again? My answer, listen to your engineers, especially the ones who've been there 20 years. They know where the bodies are buried. Poor choice of words given the context. But it's true. Ashley gets out of prison after 8 years. Good behavior, eligible for early release. Comes out to a changed world. Cybersecurity landscape evolved. Everyone knows her name, not in a good way. The woman who killed hospital patients. She tries to start a consulting business. Lessons in crisis management. Shuts down after 3 months, no clients. Who wants security advice from someone who caused a disaster? Last I heard, she's working retail. Some clothing store in Oregon. Making $15 an hour. Can't work in tech anymore. Can't work in healthcare. Can't escape what she did. Every background check shows the conviction. Every Google search shows the articles. She's unhireable in her field. And she should be. 7 people died because she wouldn't listen. I still work in hospital IT. Still protecting legacy systems. Still fighting against people who want to modernize too fast. Had a new CISO start last year. Young guy, 35, lots of ideas about cloud security. First meeting, He proposes migrating critical systems. I stop him. Before we talk about that, let me tell you a story about Medcare. Spend an hour walking him through it. The modernization plan, the isolated VLAN, the ransomware, the deaths, the trial. He's quiet when I finish. You were there for all of that. Me? Every minute of it. Him? What should I do differently? Me? Test everything twice. Move slowly, verify compatibility. And when someone with 20 years experience says it won't work, listen to them. He nods. I'll keep that in mind. So far, he has. We're still running some legacy systems. Still protecting old medical devices. Still prioritizing uptime over modernization. Because we learned the lesson. Ashley taught it to us. At the cost of 7 lives. Feminist cybersecurity lead disabled legacy safeguards. Ransomware hit 47 hospitals. 7 people died because she thought she knew better than the systems that had worked for 20 years. She didn't. And now 7 families have empty chairs at their tables because someone decided